The two richest people on the planet are in a Twitter war of galactic proportions, with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin challenging NASA's awarding of their lunar lander contract to Elon Musk's SpaceX, prompting Musk to engage in some quality trolling, tweeting that Bezos can't get it up to orbit. LOL. So time to talk about the hottest topics in space with former NASA administrator and Acorn Growth Company's senior advisor, Jim Bridenstine. Jim, we saved the best for last. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Always great to be with you. What a story.
I mean, you know what, Jim? It's so wild because for so many years, people thought that space was so boring. I tell you what, with these two billionaires in the mix, it ain't so boring now.
No, in fact, I really think it's amazing entertainment. So that's good just on the face of it. But even better, like you said, we have two titans of American industry and others. We've got others out there that are competing, to provide services to NASA, and they're fighting in order to get a NASA contract. I think it's wonderful for space exploration. It's great entertainment, and it's good for the United States of America.
Yeah, the first space race, it was all about two countries competing. That's what fueled the Apollo 11 program, or the Apollo program. Now we've got these two billionaires and as you said, other industry titans duking it out. But it's that same kind of competition that's making space so exciting again. In terms of this lunar lander contract, we had some big news tonight. It sounds like Jeff Bezos' complaint is actually having an impact. NASA announcing today that it's suspending that contract with SpaceX. How do you think this is going to shake out?
It's too early to tell. This is not unusual. When we had a contract back in 2014 to launch crew to the International Space Station, there was a protest then as well, and so the contract got suspended, but in a matter of weeks, it continued to move forward. I don't know how this will turn out. I do know that I trust the judgment and the capabilities of the professionals at NASA. But the important thing is this: there is a process here, and that is what we are going through. I say we. I'm not at NASA. Haven't been there for 3 months. But we, the United States of America, how about that? There's a process, and in the end, this process will result in an outcome that everybody is going to have a lot of confidence in. So it's really a good thing, and we'll see where it ends up.
Yeah, and the irony here, Bezos using a very similar argument to the one that Musk used in order to fight the United Launch Alliance and gain some of those contracts. So it's really kind of coming full circle here, which is interesting to see. I want to talk to you about one other thing, the very close call that those astronauts inside the Dragon capsule that launched last week, close call to some space debris. And we don't know exactly where that debris specifically came from, but this is another area where Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are fighting it out, both trying to launch tons and tons of satellites into low Earth orbit, which is creating those kinds of conditions, those dangerous conditions that we saw this week.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I want to be clear. There is a huge market for basically internet connectivity from space. Morgan Stanley says that market could be as big as $400 billion by the year 2040. That means there's lots of opportunity there. It also means that we have to do two things. Number one, we have to be safe in space. And so we need to make sure that the United States government, through its regulators, the FCC, and also members of Congress need to get active here and start saying, what do we need to do to be safe? And we need to make sure that there is access to low Earth orbit for a lot of different companies. We have to make sure that there is competition. I've always said the only thing worse than a government monopoly is a private monopoly that the government is beholden to. And so we have to prevent that from happening for anybody. We need competition in the marketplace, but there's a lot of opportunity here for a lot of different companies to provide internet broadband from space. And I think that's going to be good. Not just for the United States of America, but lifting people out of poverty, providing education all around the world, mobile banking, for example, telemedicine. Remember, 50% of the world isn't connected right now. So when we can start connecting people, it's going to be transformational in a positive way. And I'm very excited about it. There's lots of room for everybody, but we have to do the right things from a government perspective.
Who do you think is winning that little war right now, SpaceX or Blue Origin?
Well, certainly SpaceX is launching more stuff into space right now, but I'll tell you, I recently joined the board of directors of a company called Viasat. I think they have probably the most unique and the best intellectual property to actually provide more throughput, more bandwidth at a lesser cost. So there's opportunity here for a lot of different companies. And over time, we'll see what happens. But competition is a good thing. We need to ensure that it stays there, and we need to make sure that space is safe.
Jim, I got about 30 seconds, but really quick, weigh in on China launching the first module of its space station this week and Russia leaving the U.S. space station to start its own.
So important. This is critically important. Every American needs to listen to this. The International Space Station, we celebrated 20 years of its active service in November of last year. We have to make sure that when it comes to the end of its useful life, there is a replacement. We need commercial space stations, maybe even multiple or even a dozen or so commercial space stations. We cannot cede to China or any other country low Earth orbit. And NASA has to be at the forefront of this, and we need Congress to fund it.
Jim, I got to leave it there. Thank you so much. You've been my favorite segment of the week. Really appreciate it. Have a great night and a good weekend.
Thank you.